of anything they have to offer me, right? It's like, get over yourself, Mark. You gotta.
I believe if we could be indivisible, we would be indestructible. And the
Hi, after this, I don't mean to ask you to put you on the spot to say, tell us what's going to happen in the future, but tell us what's going to happen in the future.
Good.
Hello and welcome to another live recording of the Keep Leading podcast, a program dedicated to leadership development and insights. I'm Eddie Turner, the Leadership Accelerator. I work with leaders to accelerate performance and drive impact through the power of executive coaching, masterful facilitation, and professional speeches. My goal is to help you stay inspired, stay motivated, so you can keep leading. I'm streaming live today on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. If you're joining us, please let us know that you're here and where you're joining us from. We want to know which part of the world that you are in. And share your reaction. Some folks are able to type a comment in the comment section. Or if you have a question, type your question in the comment section, and we'll answer your question. If you can't do that, some let us know how they're feeling by reacting with an emoticon. We'll accept that as well. Hit that share button, and you can share this to the feed of your colleagues so that they can see the recording that will stay here on the social media channels afterwards. If you're not following my guest already, you're going to want to do so. I encourage you to follow him on social media. Are you ready to be inspired by an extraordinary tale of resilience, determination, and triumph? If so, you're in the right place. Because today I have the extraordinary honor of interviewing Devon Harris, a legendary man who embodies the spirit of perseverance and leadership. He is an international keynote speaker and one of the founding members of the original Jamaican bobsled team. Now, he grew up in a violent ghetto in Kingston, Jamaica. But his positive attitude and determination led him to success. He graduated from the Royal Military Academy in England and received a Queen's Commission in 1985. He then went on to serve as the captain in the Jamaican Defense until 1992. He joined the first Jamaican bobsled team and competed in the 1988 Olympic Games in Calgary, inspiring the famous Disney movie, Cool Runnings, one of my all-time favorites. He also competed in the 1992 and 1998 Winter Olympics. Devon Harris founded the Keep On Pushing Foundation in 2006 to support education in disadvantaged communities and currently runs breakfast and school supply programs. As an athlete and ambassador for Right to Play, he supports child development through sports and refugee camps. And he is the author of the book, Keep On Pushing, Hot Lessons from Cool Runnings. Devon, welcome to the Keep Leading podcast.
Eddie, thank you so much for having me, man. I absolutely love the title, Keep Leading. You know, my mantra is keep on pushing. And so clearly there's some synergy there, the keep. But I think what both of us are saying is that when it comes on to success, Eddie, it's not a one and done, right? It's consistency. You don't just lead once. You don't just push towards a goal once. You have to keep at it. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here with you.
Well, it's an honor to have you, and I'm glad you honed in on that, because I absolutely was enamored when I saw the title of your show that you were so kind to have me on. If you haven't seen this episode, folks, Devon had me on the Keep Pushing Talk Show. Keep on Pushing Talk Show. And yes, this idea that success, leadership, pushing for perseverance, it is not a one and done. It is something we must continuously do. So we're on the same wavelength there. And I labored long and hard to come up with my title, and that was my thought. So it's good to know that we're right here, my friend. Now, I got to ask you. I talked about it in the intro. Most people who are tuning in and who will hear this as a regular podcast and not just see this video, they have seen Cool Runnings. And I have talked to you a couple of times, but I have not asked you this question until now.
Mm-hmm.
Which member that is on there, and I'm going to show right now for those who are listening to audio, you won't see it, but video, here's the original bobsled team, Jamaican bobsled team members. And in the Disney movie, which one represents you?
Well, Eddie, I like to tell people I was a handsome one, but whenever I do that, people just burst out laughing. They're like, "There's nothing handsome about you." So, what are you gonna do? The truth is that the characters in the movie are very different from real life characters. So, if I had to choose one, I would say I was Yul Brenner, played by Malik Yoba. That
really.
Well, you may remember he's a guy that wanted to go to Buckingham Palace to live. He was a dreamer. And that's how I see myself as well, a dreamer. And so I see my personality, my character, my personality most closely aligned to his.
How about that? See, now I was thinking, okay, I knew from your background you kid, but I thought you was more of the gruff one. And so I thought you were going to tell me you were Doris. Okay.
Yes. And that's the thing, though, when I'm sure we can all see elements of our own personalities and characters and the different characters in the movie. Doris was a leader, was a team captain. I was a captain in the army. On the very first team, though, Dudley Stokes was the driver and team captain. But yeah, I'd say Malik, not because he was a mean one, and I am a little bit intense when I compete. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I love the fact that he was very frustrated with his current situation in life and wanted better and was eager, let's say, to get better. So I relate to that.
He was also the strongest one on the team, right? He was the toughest one.
Up here, yes. I'm not going to say I was the strongest one on the team, but I did have some muscles. I had a few.
Now, I have to tell you something. Until I was getting ready for this interview, I had never watched the actual original footage. I only knew what was in the movie. So I watched that original footage, and I was even more impressed with what you all accomplished. Because if you watch the original footage from the Olympic team, you see how you all came around that bend, and it wasn't just that thing flipped over. You guys could have really been seriously hurt or even killed.
That's the thing. I remember when I just started bobsledding, Eddie, my dad was watching some footage and he just sat there in silence, staring at the screen, right? And then he goes, "But this thing is really dangerous." And I go, "Yeah, that's why we wear a helmet."
Oh my goodness.
But here's the thing, the crash looked way more violent than it felt. I'm not saying it wasn't violent. I mean, there's no way you're going to crash in a bobsled and not be prone to injury or even death, and definitely that crash in 88 was right up there in terms of how badly it could have ended. But, honestly, I was in the sled, my head hit the ice, and all I felt was embarrassment, man. I was like, oh my God, we crashed in front of the entire world. How embarrassing, how awful it was, but yeah, we walked away. Like I did that.
You got up, you walked away, and you walked away with new lessons. Tell us about some of those lessons you walked away with.
The first thing I want to say about that is just, how far a little bit of gratitude and graciousness can take you. You know, when we were walking up that breaking stretch, I was just embarrassed, like nobody's business, and trying to exit stage left. And you know, the crowd there in Calgary at the track that they were so gracious, Eddie. People just started to cheer. We love you, we love you. I remember one guy reached over the track to shake my hand, and I had to shake, you know, practically every other hand as I tried to get off.
I noticed that.
Yes. And I'll tell you this as a kind of a side note, you know, when a Jamaican tells you soon come, be worried, because that could be 5 minutes, could be 5 years, could be 30 something years.
Okay.
Because after that crash, they asked me, I think ABC was the channel at the time carrying the Olympics. They asked me to come do an interview. And think about it though, I'm 22 years old. I just failed in front of the entire world. What the hell do you say on live TV? I didn't know what to say. So I told them soon come. I haven't been yet. I think I think they're still looking for me. You know?
My.
But, the one, there are many lessons, but I think the one thing that all of us took away from that particular crash was this was not the end. It made us more resolute. We were so much more determined now because we actually believed in ourselves, and we were annoyed with ourselves for crashing, failing in our mind, bringing disgrace to our country, but perhaps even worse, giving credence to the people who believed we could not do this. We did not belong. And so ending like that with a spectacular crash just made us more determined, more resolute to come back and prove the naysayers wrong.
Yes, you would carry literally the weight of the world on your shoulders, as you mentioned, because of not just your own personal and familial pride, but the pride of your nation, especially being the first. But you still accomplished so much so you wrote a great blog a couple of days ago where you talked about the role that failure plays in success. Can you just talk about how that dovetails off of what you're talking about here?
Yeah, man. I actually, you know, as a motivational keynote speaker, I do have these conversations around failure, and I use that crash and, you know, ask the audience how many people have ever failed, how many people have ever failed and felt like a loser on international TV. And that's exactly, if you watch the footage, that's what it felt like. But here's the thing about failure. Yes, it sucks. It doesn't feel good. No honest person will tell you, yeah, it's fine. No, it doesn't feel good, but it's such a necessary part of our success journey. And if you are not failing, it means that you're sitting in your little comfort zone and you're not dreaming enough, you're not trying enough, you're not, pushing yourself hard enough to forget, achieving something spectacular. You're not pushing yourself to become all that you can be. And so you might sit there thinking, whoa, this is nice and comfortable and I'm doing okay, but you are inadvertently failing, because we do live in a world that is constantly changing. And if you're not growing, you're regressing, you're failing. So yeah, I would challenge everyone to, kind of step out there, keep on pushing, keep pushing the boundaries, keep pushing what is possible for you. And yes, every now and again, you're going to experience these setbacks, these failures, and you use them as a learning tool. You use them as motivation to push yourself forward.
As you did, and you set the example by getting up and competing 2 more times in the Olympics. Most people can't say they've done it once. You've done it 3 times. And so you're living what you preach.
Well, I hit my head on that first one, and I'm not responsible for my actions after that.
Well, we won't gloss over the fact that you mentioned that this is something you talk about in your keynote speeches. So we mentioned in the bio, and we'll mention it again here, that Devon Harris is an international keynote speaker where he spreads his message. And to book him, you visit his website, devonharris.com. to be able to book him.
Indeed. Thank you for that. I like to think that I'm the easiest guy to find, Eddie. So yeah, devonharris.com.
Excellent. Well, we have joining us from LinkedIn, Troy Otmer. Troy says, thanks for sharing. Troy, thank you for joining us, and thank you for letting us know that you're here and sharing your reaction. If you are listening to this conversation with Devon Harris, where we're talking about the need to keep on pushing, we invite you to share your reaction. And if you have any questions, ask him as well. We will pause just for a moment to acknowledge the sponsor of the Keep Leading podcast. If a single employee's indecision can cost an organization $10,000 to $1 million, imagine the potential financial impact when more individuals are added to this indecision equation. It can spiral out of control very quickly. The solution? Decision X. It's a bespoke, on-demand service designed to help your leaders overcome indecision and move forward with their work. Visit Papillon MDC and discover how you can help your team get unstuck, shift perspective, and advance today. And for those who are listening to the audio and not seeing the graphic on the screen, that's Papillon, Papillon MDC.ca. My wonderful friends there in Canada. And as a reminder, the Keep Leading podcast is available not just in this video format, but on audio, and it is part of the C-Suite Radio Network. Together, we're turning the volume up on business. Visit c-suiteradio.com and listen to the Keep Leading podcast and all the other great business podcasts we have there. All right, Devon. Well, I am absolutely enjoying this conversation with you as we learn more about this idea of keep on pushing, and it's a continuous action. Please tell us a little bit, if you will, about the great work of your foundation that you created.
Indeed, thank you. The Keep On Pushing Foundation. I notice everything has this keep on pushing thing. Hey, I'm a bobsledder, man. That's all we know how to do. But, you know, I think you mentioned that I'm from a rough neighborhood in Kingston, Olympic Gardens, believe it or not. One of the really challenging, impoverished, violent neighborhood. And so this was back in 2006. I was visiting Jamaica, went back to the old neighborhood, went to my old elementary school. And I was speaking to the principal, and he proceeded to tell me that a lot of the kids attending school were turning up in the mornings without breakfast. They were hungry. And I think we know that if you're hungry, you don't learn. If you don't learn, you don't get educated. You don't get educated, then it's kind of difficult to become a contributing member of society. And in Olympic Gardens and places like that around the world, you know, if you've missed the bus, you've missed the bus, as it were. And I know what that, you know, growing up in that environment felt like. So we started the foundation, Keep On Pushing, and we started supporting a breakfast program at the school. We have fed about 6,500 students there now so far in that one particular school, but we have had a school supplies program. So every September, every child in the school gets a book bag with school supplies in it, you know, notebooks, pencils, and so on and so forth. We have supported about 10 schools in the old neighborhood over the years. We're actually in the process of, we just established a computer lab at the school actually, and in the process of doing a second one at another school. And the goal here is not just to provide the digital training for the kids in the school, but eventually to provide similar kind of training to the young people in the neighborhood who are, you know, clearly not in school, but who could benefit from that kind of knowledge and hopefully develop them to the point where they can be contributing in the job market or starting their own business.
Well, I applaud you and the great work that your foundation is doing. And I saw some of the staggering numbers of how many people you've helped. And that's just people you've put food in their mouths. But I don't think you even know the impact you fully have had on people because of what they've been able to do as a result. or
But
will do in the future.
all of us, I think, though, Eddie, benefit
Yeah.
from that. Call it paid forward, if you will. But I think that you and I have had mentors in our lives who we don't know how many generations back it went, where somebody did this one little thing for someone else who helped somebody, and here we are, benefiting from that kind of support and help. And so if I can do something to help one child, one person, then I'm happy to do it.
Outstanding. And I want to acknowledge we are broadcasting on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. We have Dr. Terry Jackson joining us on Facebook, and he is sending you an emoji saying thumbs up. He likes what you're saying, likes what you're doing. So outstanding work there. Now, when you talk about how you went back to help and you realized that this was the biggest area that you could help in, it's not easy to escape the kind of circumstances you are able to escape from and then to succeed. What advice do you give other young men who find themselves, or young people who find themselves facing similar circumstances, as to how they can do the same?
Yeah, it's when you're in the middle of it and you're looking out and dreaming, it can seem like a world away, and the circumstances that you find yourself in can feel somewhat overwhelming, quite daunting. But I would encourage them not to stop dreaming, to recognize that there is a world outside of your immediate circles, your immediate circumstances. And not to be discouraged or allow yourself to be fazed by it. But then to follow up that dreaming with working, there's work that needs to be done. So, I tell kids all the time, your most important job right now is to get educated. So focus on getting as much as you can out of school, and allow that work that you're doing to fuel the dreams that you have, beyond school after you have gotten up, and then don't allow others to trample your dreams. Don't allow them to discourage you. There are a lot of people who are afraid to dream big and to push themselves outside of what they know. And sometimes when they're trampling on your dream, it's not because they mean you any ill will. They are projecting their own insecurity and lack of belief in themselves. Don't allow that to stop you. Keep pushing yourself.
Excellent advice. Thank you for sharing that. Now, in this ties back to what you were also saying about which character you played, right? Because of your dreamer and your vision. Now, some people can only dream as far as what they have seen or experienced or heard of. Is there any advice for how to have a dream when you haven't even seen it? Like, you went on to become a military a leader. Is that something you'd seen?
Certainly heard of. So here's the thing. I something I heard a while back, and I've said it many times. Go as far as you can see. But when you get there, you'll see further. And if you think about just in the physical,
go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you'll see further.
You will.
I like that.
You absolutely will. And when I was growing up in the hood, yes, I dreamt of being an army officer. And I also had this dream of being an Olympian, not a Winter Olympian, to be honest, but I became an army officer. And then I'm like, whoa, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? I'm 21. Oh yeah, the Olympics. And then I ended up on the bobsled team. And I started to see a world that I never could have imagined from my vantage point back in the old neighborhood. But because I had the courage and I put the work into to go as far as I could see at the time, being an army officer, that then opened up new doors, opened up a new vantage point from which I could look further out into the world. And here we are, you and I having a conversation.
Here we are, indeed. It wouldn't be otherwise. So that's excellent advice. I like that. I'm going to actually share that even separately, because that's a powerful piece of advice, because as you said, it's one thing to dream, but you have to put work behind the dream, right?
Yes.
And so this is, if you're not sure where to get started, I'm just gonna have to say it again because that's so beautiful. Go as far as you can see, and then when you get there, you'll see further. Excellent advice. Well, I also want to share with folks something else that I saw that you wrote here, about the idea of the mindset that it takes to become an Olympian, and how that mindset gets transferred to other areas of life, as you have done. Tell us about that mindset.
You know, they say that most Olympians, Eddie, are inspired by other Olympians. So you're a young kid and you see a guy or a girl and you're like, wow, I want to do that. Yeah, I don't know if I could do that. And that's true for me. Long story short, I'm 15 years old and I'm watching this program, ABC Wild World of Sports, Road to Moscow, because the Olympics were coming up in 1980 in Moscow. And I'm seeing, you know, when you think of an Olympian, you think of these superhuman people. And I realized that they were very average and ordinary, but they had these extraordinary dreams, and they had an equally extraordinary desire to do the work to realize those dreams. And so when you think of having an Olympic mindset, it is this dare to dream kind of mindset. That's where it starts, you know, with this clarity of what you want to achieve, and then having the discipline, having the drive, having the determination, the resilience to go after it. It's definitely not an easy road, and nothing that you dream of that is huge. If you want to achieve in an extraordinary way, you are going to be challenged. Life is going to test you, and you have to now be willing to be frustrated and then pick yourself up and keep on pushing.
Pick yourself up and keep on pushing. Excellent. Devon, I could talk to you for hours, but tell me something. What is the most important message you want those who are listening to us live, watching us live, or who will listen to this later on as a podcast? What's the most important message you want them to take away from our conversation?
You know, all of us, Eddie, as individuals and as teams as well, you know, because we're talking to leaders who are leading, you know, people in their charge. We all face these situations, circumstances that are beyond our control, right? We didn't create them, but we have to deal with them. And I want them to know that your current circumstances don't dictate where you can end up. It might dictate, if you allow it, it will dictate where you end up, but it doesn't have to. And that's, you know, part and parcel of this keep on pushing mentality. I don't want to sound too much like a cliche here, but it's just to kind of, you know, as we talk about dreams, you have to be able to take some time to visualize that other world that you think you'd want to or should live, that you deserve to live. And then, look, it's not an easy road. It requires effort. It requires you bouncing back from setbacks and all of that, and also collaborating with other people. So don't settle for where you find yourself. Team up with some people, go pursue some big dreams. And I promise you, if you stay in the game long enough, you'll make it happen.
Don't settle for where you find yourself. I love it. Excellent. And I always ask, what is your favorite quote or piece of advice you've received that you use that helps you keep leading?
I'm drawing a blank here. It says, what I'm paraphrasing, what's behind you and in front of you is totally and completely insignificant to what lies inside of you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. And we want to reiterate, folks, that Devon Harris has a book available. That book is Keep On Pushing, Hot Lessons from Cool Runnings. And of course, if you haven't seen the movie Cool Runnings, you'll definitely want to check it out, especially now. And he is a keynote speaker. You can book him by visiting, I was going to say keeponpushing.com, by visiting devonharris.com. And you'll see the picture there of his website where he's talking about how you can learn to keep on pushing. Devon, thank you so much for being here today. It's been an encouraging, inspiring conversation to have you here.
Eddie, thank you for having me. And yes, keep on leading, my friend.
Thank you. And thank you for listening. That concludes this episode of the live recording of the Keep Leading podcast. I'm Eddie Turner, the Leadership Accelerator, reminding you that leadership is not about our title or our position. Leadership is an activity. Leadership is action. It's not the case of once a leader, always a leader. It's not a garment that we put on and take off. We must be a leader at our core and allow it to emanate in all we do. So whatever you're doing, always keep leading.